Welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Rook with Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading. The livestock futures trading mostly lower, except for nearby live cattle futures on Monday, but a big rally in the grains. Tommy, let's talk about this rally because we're trading weather. Finally, why did it take so long for us to trade weather and get the market's attention?
Well, you and I were looking at the charts before we started talking, and the red line went above the green line. Whatever color you look at your charts, many of the commodity markets are now above the 100-day moving average, and that's a real big deal. Trend followers, you'd have to start saying that for the short term, grain markets are trading up. They're no longer trading down. We're crossing those levels. We've spent a lot of time above the 20-day moving average, briefly went above the 50, and within a few days, all the grain markets uh, knocked on the 100-day moving average door. Then we traded above it. So are those new, what we would call resistance, are those becoming support levels? We'll see.
So, Tommy, you mentioned the 100-day moving averages, and let's talk about corn specifically. Let's pop that up here and see if we can talk a little bit about what you as a trader are watching, or what are the funds watching here?
Well, the trend's your friend, and that red line right there is the 100-day moving average in corn. And we spent that chart's going all the way back to SEPA 23. Move it here to May of 24, and you're finally seeing the corn market cross over the 100-day, stay above the 100-day. Many folks in the industry thought it would be resistance. Now, many of the grain markets have actually crossed and closed above the 100-day. Trend followers will be looking to buy dips as if the trend has changed. A dangerous time to become bullish in May with too much supply, yet the charts are saying the markets could be going up.
And right now, it looks like global weather issues are actually trumping some of the weather concerns with delayed planting here in the US.
Yes, you look at Russia, you look at what's going on with Russia. It's confusing over there because we were dry, that was affecting their crop. And then over the weekend, we had headlines coming from our private weather sources that the Russia actually having a frost. So who knows what's going on with Russia? Hard to get information out of there, at least reliable, truthful information. We'll see what other folks in the industry can find out who have better sources over in Ukraine and Russia, but definitely something there. So you have a Russia problem that's real. You have a South American problem. You have the triple threat in South America. You have the flooding in the southern parts, dryness in the northern. Then you have the bugs eating the Argentine crop. That's been very well advertised. They've done a great job of lowering estimates there. Something I wasn't familiar about. I don't remember what the bug's called, but I've seen pictures and they're eating the crops, which is a big win for the American farmer. Sorry for the folks down south, but the American farmer was holding too much grain. They weren't sure how they're going to get out of it. Talked to a lot of clients last few days. They are selling old crop bushels and moving on. We'll see if this rally can continue. A lot of it will have to do with the next 10 to 15 days weather in the United States. And what do the funds do? And these funds really can move the markets. And when they are short and stay short for a long time, it creates pain for the farmer. But when the funds viciously cover these shorts, it's a wonderful opportunity for the American farmer to get hedged, sold, and protected.
Far as the funds, do they keep covering their short position, or do they even go long at some point?
That would be interesting. I think we'll see a fair amount of farmer selling. The farmer's pretty focused on getting planted, but when they start to look over at a 1225 note bean, a 1250 note bean, that's really going to be interesting. Starting to see a lot of activity in D's 24 corn, D's 25 corn approaching $5, catching people's attention. Could the funds go from short to neutral to long? It might have already happened and we don't know it because the data on that's behind, Michelle. And so we had big buying Thursday, that up 30-day in beans. Friday up 10. Early in the week this week, big monster up days here in the market. And so the funds might actually start being long. A big move in meal. And with all that, cattle are flying around on rumors of everything else going on. So a lot of money swapping around. Stock market's having a good day. There's money in America for some, not everyone, but a lot of money looking for a home right now.
So, do you think that there will be new money that comes into the grains? I mean, will there be maybe some buying as an inflation hedge or anything like that?
Well, they people who were convinced that inflation was over, time to get out of your long commodities, they look to be getting back in. Long term, I think the grains have a negative picture. With a good crop in America, I think we could be at much lower prices at harvest. But currently today, We're popping these markets, and this is everything the American farmer had asked for. Everyone wants someone to have a problem, just not their own farm, right? Oh, I hope they have a problem in South America. Here you go. I hope they have a problem in Russia. Here you go. Now, when you have a little delayed planting, it's the 5th, 6th, 7th here of May. We'll see what things look like. We are in the starts of a weather market in America. I have to tell you, you said from my experience, it does not pay to get bulled up in May because planting's going slow. An incredible amount of field work was done in the fall. Incredible amount of fertilizer was put on in the fall. We had a hot, dry early spring that turned into now a wet spring. I think a huge chunk of the farms are ready to go. And the second the window's clear, I just spoke to a farmer in central Indiana before we went on. He didn't think he'd be in the fields till later this week. He went in Saturday and started planting.
So, since weather rallies can be fleeting, as you just allude to, what do farmers need to do from a marketing perspective to leave some of this upside open?
Great question. They're going to be scared to sell it because they didn't plant it. Until you actually plant the crop, you have a different opinion. It must be super stressful to go borrow millions of dollars and have everything waiting and not turn those millions of dollars actually into bushels. Once they plant it and see it coming out of the ground, it'll be a different story. So, in the meantime, we are advising folks buy a basic put. They can go to July on old crop bushels if they just want to buy themselves some time. Looking at about 45 to 47 days till July options expire. A traditional July put will get you right through the next 40 some days. It'll give you a chance to plant the crop, then get the truck started and start delivering that grain. Or they can buy a July short dated option, which is based off the new crop bushels. Only going to buy 47 days, but that's going to give you plenty of time to understand, has something huge changed fundamentally in the grains or supply wise in the grains? It'll buy you time. You'll have that floor. You'll have 100% of your upside open. Until you actually plant that crop, I think farmers are going to be nervous.
No doubt. Uh, the other thing, we do have the WASD coming up on Friday, as you pointed out. And is it something that could throw cold water on the market? We're going to get our first print of new crop, and that's likely to be fairly big, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they'll go big on the bushels. I don't think they'll say, hey, the crop got smaller already. It's so early in the game. And that always throws people off because what you're seeing happen and how the government reacts to it, I have to say, people, both private and all types of folks, have been doing crop tours over the last few years, coming in with smaller numbers. And then the government comes in with a bigger yield. I give that credit to great farming practices over 50, 60 years of putting tile in, and we've been tiling for longer than that. But as far as the plastic tile, going on 45, 50 years of tile, more fields than ever are tiled, and then better farming practices. And you have to add, Michelle, this is going to sound weird, but AI, the amount of technology that's in these combines and planters and everything else, we're getting more done more accurately in a faster time. AI getting us a boost in yield.
No doubt. Cattle market, live cattle under pressure, except the June contract did come back with some better cash trade news last week. But how long is it going to take us to finally work all of this bird flu fear out of this market, do you think?
Well, let's hope it's in the rearview mirror. You see stuff on social media with people posting pictures of red eyes and stuff, but no death loss, no problems. It just makes for a good news story on a slow news day. Starting to hit the big news stations. They must be desperate. I don't know if they can't bash folks enough for the election or what's going on, or if Morgan Wallen needs to throw another chair or something. But when they start talking and interviewing farmers who have a pink eye, I mean, they could have cleaned a bin and rubbed their eye. We all get working outside could get allergies or anything else. So it looks like this story is there was a beginning, a middle, and end. Michelle, let's hope we're towards the end.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you got cash trade doing what it's doing, that certainly to me is a pretty good indication that demand is not faltering.
Exactly, and the cash markets don't lie. Uh, Guys who are bullish cattle, they've had some huge downdrafts, and they have to deal with that risk, whether it be through futures or options, LRP, or they're just naked long. But you're starting to see that the cash markets, we trade down, and then those cash markets pop up. Full blown grilling season starting here. The weather's going to get nice. We're 4 years past COVID. People want to be out. They want to celebrate graduations, weddings, everything else. Should be a big grilling season if this weather turns hot and sunny.
Thanks for joining us, Tommy Grisafi with Advanced Trading, and that's Markets Now.